I am new kind of in the bodybuilding niche industry, but have kind of always, I would say, been on the outskirts of the fitness world. I got my group fitness instructor when I was like 20 or 21, just because I really enjoyed a group fitness class. And I was like, hey, I'll teach it. What the heck? It'll be fun. And so I kind of always have been involved in fitness in some degree, but also, varying degrees of unhealthy too. I've, battled my fair share of eating disorders and, I've kind of taken a back seat to my own health and fitness until I would say my 30s. So then all of a sudden I was like, hey, I need to take care of myself a little better. And so I started actually accumulating a bunch of certifications, not with the intention of actually being a coach or working with other women, but more because I wanted to understand my own body and why, all of these fad diets weren't working. How come if I purchased that MLM program, I never looked like how I thought I should look from the amount of effort that I was putting out. And so I just kind of started devouring a bunch of content, and it just kind of snowballed into this beautiful experience of getting the opportunity to coach other women and teach them what I've learned.
Where did that initial like spark come from for fitness and for health?
Not to get kind of deep, but I'm going to get kind of deep. So I grew up really kind of rough, and I think that I started initially getting into, like, I would be really restrictive on my calories and stuff like that. Even in, like, I remember being 12 years old and buying Slim Fast when I got my first bit of money in my pocket. And so I feel like I was always super weight conscious. And I think it comes from, honestly, I grew up really in awful, awful, awful conditions. And I always somehow got treated a little better for being the cute one. And so I think that I just kind of internalized at a young age that if you look a certain kind of way, you get, slightly better treatment. And I don't know how to really dive into that without telling you my whole background. And so I think it was just kind of really from a young age being just kind of around a lot of unhealthy adults, I would say, that kind of was always, even like adult women that were in my life were always on a diet and whatnot. So I think it made me just aware that your appearance has to do with how you get treated. It was, I just wanted to be the skinniest version of myself like, back in the day. So wildly unhealthy. And then that spiraled into eating disorders and whatnot.
Was there anyone like in your life at all that you could remember that was outside of that box?
I came up in kind of an unusual way. So I was homeless through much of my childhood. And so I feel like I was just kind of always in like just a really small bubble. And yeah, I didn't have the opportunity to go to school when I was a young child. I didn't start school until I was in high school. And so I feel like I didn't have any normal, healthy influences because all I had was my kind of immediate family that was a lot of unhealthy influences.
Gotcha. And did you ever like, was there any part of you that thought like, hey, like, does this make sense? Like, was there any of that, or was it just like so much a part of like what you were doing that you didn't even have time to really think about it?
I think looking back on it, I feel like I was overly restrictive even as a child. And there was always that pressure. Like my mom was always on some sort of a diet or trying to lose weight. Everybody's always trying to lose weight. And so I feel like just hearing a lot of other women talk about how you should be small and you should be thin kind of started that fire. And then I think because my world was so chaotic, it gave me something that I was like fully in control of. Like I
Gotcha.
could say yes or no if I was going to eat something or not eat something, if it was presented. And I mean, I think a lot of times I didn't really have the luxury of having food. So it kind of made restricting easier, and then it became more of a comfort.
Are you struggling with the common challenges of marketing and managing systems? Well, let me introduce you to our new sponsor, Big Play Digital Solutions. At Big Play Digital, they specialize in helping fitness professionals like yourself overcome these hurdles. Their mission is simple: to provide seamless support in digital marketing and system management so you can focus on what you do best, serving your clients. Now, here's the reality. Many of us fitness professionals find ourselves spending more time on administrative tasks and marketing efforts than actually working with our clients. It's time to change that. Big Play Digital has the perfect solution. First, they create and execute effective digital marketing strategies tailored to your needs. From boosting your online visibility, attracting the right clients, and boosting retention, they've got your back. SEO, email marketing, social media marketing, content creation, they've got the expertise. But that's not all. They also offer comprehensive system management solutions. Their business management software, specifically designed for the fitness industry, streamlines processes, automates administrative tasks, and enhances client communications. More time, less hassle. The result, a more streamlined, efficient, and profitable fitness business that can compete effectively in today's digital landscape. Sounds like the solution you've been looking for, right? So if you're ready to take your fitness business to the next level, I encourage you to connect with Big Play Digital Solutions. They'll tailor their services to meet your specific needs and help you succeed. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Empower your fitness business with Big Play Digital Solutions. Connect with them today. Gotcha. Did it almost feel like this is what I'm doing, like I'm going to make the best out of this situation, kind of?
Kind of. It almost felt like a breath of fresh air that I was like, okay, well, I'm choosing not to have anything. Like, this isn't because of whatever's happening. It's like, yeah, this is my choice. And I mean, looking back on it, it's so ridiculous that that's how my brain put things together. But apparently that's pretty common with eating disorders, is having some sort of, something that you can control.
Let me make the most out of this, so at least I kind of can feel good about where I am.
Yeah, or almost feel like you're not a victim
Yeah,
to your circumstance or environment.
right. So when you got into high school though, was there any, I guess, where was the standard still kind of that the same in that population as well?
So what had happened for me when I started high school is I was thrown into a public school, and it was like my first experience with school. And I had four sisters. And so five homeschooled girls, all starting at the same public school. Word kind of traveled really quickly, and I think we got noticed very quickly just because we were slightly different. Um, but also I felt like I got a lot of positive attention because, I had great abs and like, but it wasn't, from healthy patterns. It was just the way that my body was. And so I think getting those positive kind of affirmations almost kind of deepened the eating disorder to some degree. And
Right.
then, I decided I wanted to be a cheerleader, and that didn't help. And yeah, so I think probably just kind of deepened it. Because you
Gotcha.
get attention in high school for how you look, or if you're, thinner or smaller, or in a smaller size when you're a female.
And then moving on past high school, like at what point do you feel like that maybe your eyes began to open, not necessarily like truly changed, but like where you started to see other like opinions, other ways of doing things, women that weren't concerned about being small necessarily. Like when did you start to make that transition?
I really don't think that happened for me until recently, like the last 5 years or so. I kind of, I share very openly on my Instagram that for most of my adult life, I was trying to shrink myself and trying to cardio away the last 5 or 10 pounds and diet down the last 5 or 10 pounds. And then eventually I realized you might have to gain 5 pounds to lose that 10. Like you might, you probably have to make your metabolism pretty healthy in order to do this. And that's kind of what started my journey into kind of picking up a bunch of certifications and just kind of learning as much as I could, because I was just like, what the heck? I still don't like my body. Like I work my butt off. I'm in the gym 7 days a week and I don't look like it. And I started following bodybuilders on Instagram. And then I think during COVID, I started following more bodybuilders and realizing like, weights don't make you bulky and manly. They make you shapely and feminine and healthy. So It took a while. It took a while for me, definitely.
And when you began to get those certifications and kind of look deeper into like how things worked, did that like impact you at all in terms of like, man, this is kind of like hard to believe that this is the way that things actually work versus how I've been doing them for so long?
It really did. It really, really did. And so I think that's where kind of the passion sparked in me. So I have a very lucrative, successful corporate job. I don't, financially need to coach anybody. And so for me, it was like, wow, I've been doing it wrong. And most of the people I interact with have been doing it wrong. And I started actually coaching people just for free and just trying to, help friends and family. And then eventually it kind of snowballed into like a business for me. But at first it was just like like a aha moment. Like, what the heck? Like, diet culture is doing us dirty. Like,
And when you start to understand more about how to actually like get results and start to, oh, I can implement this and this will actually be, I could see it kind of going like in maybe even both ways at the same time. To where like when you learn something, it almost becomes like this, at least for me, I kind of feel this way. It almost becomes this like addiction of wanting to implement it. And then like almost like an obsession of, oh, I know that this will probably do this thing that I want to happen, so I'm going to do it. But at the same time, did you feel that at all? But also did you feel almost like a in a way like a responsibility to take that information but not become obsessed with it, even though it may be easy to become obsessed with it, if that makes sense?
I don't think so. I think for me, it was kind of all gas once my eyes were open. So COVID, I was working out like crazy, and that's kind of how I think I managed like the stress of the whole situation. Um, and so I was living essentially on my Peloton bike and starving myself and doing all of my bad habits. And I got so thin. I mean, just really stick thin. And I started getting a lot of, compliments and oh my God, you look so good and yada yada. Then people would ask me like, what are you doing? And I would never tell them because I knew it was wildly unhealthy. And I think that, that was kind of a really important time for me because I started following a bunch of female bodybuilders. And I guess it's kind of a niche industry where unless you're like a part of it, you almost don't even really pay attention that it exists. And so I didn't know anybody like in my real life that was a competitor or anything like that. But because of the slowdown, I was on my phone more and, found all these incredible, inspiring bodybuilders to follow. And so I do think that once I saw the opportunity, it was just kind of all gas as far as my own physique goes. I started working with a bodybuilder and being coached by her, and she was incredible. And she had me put on like 30 pounds. It was like the scariest thing for somebody with like eating disorders who had worked so hard to like lose a ton of weight. And she had me put on a ton of weight and lifting really heavy and eating a lot of food. And I just kept like, of course, bucking the system and questioning things the whole time. And then I started prepping for my first contest. And so it was just so rewarding to kind of see what I had built. And even though there was like the body fat had accumulated and I didn't feel as, I didn't feel as confident as I did when I was super stick thin. But somewhere along the way, I found my confidence in getting more fit and healthy and taking care of my body in all these healthy ways. And so once I think once the match kind of lit, it was a whole forest fire. And I was like, okay, I'm going to compete now because this is great.
So when you initially started working with the bodybuilder, um, was that to you, was that more initially about the like the appearance side of it, or what do you feel like it was more of like that turn towards the health side of it?
Initially, it was appearance because I had started accumulating a bunch of certs myself and taking courses and trying to understand my own body. And, I was working with a naturopath doctor who did my blood work. And like, we were trying to figure out like, why was I struggling so hard to, achieve an aesthetic goal? And I was thin and I was fit, and man, I could run for 10 miles if I needed to, but I didn't look and feel how I wanted to look and feel, and I couldn't connect the dots. And so early on in my career, I've always been told if you want to achieve something, get yourself a mentor that's already achieved it because you'll cut your learning time in half. And so during COVID, I was like, screw it. I'm just going to hire somebody who obviously looks how I want to look, and they must be able to kind of connect the dots for me. So I would say it's more because I just wanted to cut the learning curve, and selfishly, I wanted answers. But it
Right.
was more aesthetic for sure than health.
Are you looking for a supplement company that can help take your fitness game to the next level? Look no further than All Sport Pharmaceuticals. Their cutting edge supplements are scientifically formulated to give you the edge you need in the gym and in life. Whether you're looking to build muscle, increase endurance, or boost recovery time, All Sport Pharmaceuticals has you covered. And with a wide range of products designed for people of all levels, you're sure to find the perfect supplement for your needs. So why wait? Give your body the support it deserves with All Sport Pharmaceuticals. Visit their website today to learn more and start achieving your fitness goals. Are you tired of struggling with marketing and system management? Well, Big Play Digital is here to change the game for you. Their mission is simple: to provide seamless support in digital marketing and system management so you can focus on what truly matters, delivering exceptional fitness service to your clients. Big Play Digital understands the unique demands of the fitness industry. They've tailored their software and services specifically for your needs. From SEO to email marketing, social media, and content creation, they've got it all covered. Big Play Digital offers comprehensive system management solutions designed specifically for fitness professionals. It's time to take your fitness business to new heights. So when you're working with someone, how do you kind of like ingrain within them, this is going to make you feel better? Because like when they start, they might know that they want to feel better, but they don't know
Mhm.
like what it's actually going to be. So how do you ingrain in them that like this is going to work?
I find myself having the same conversation a lot on repeat. But I also think that because I've lived through kind of a lot, I can relate to a lot. And on the flip side of my eating disorders, I gained 100 pounds while I was pregnant. So I'm like 5'1" and a half, and I was well over 200 pounds when I had all three of my kids. And so I understood like the weight loss, like I understood how to get back down again, but I still didn't understand like, how to connect the dots from looking like skinny fat to looking fit, like I actually spend time in a gym. And I am just very open and honest, and I share a lot of pictures. And I think a lot of women, we're constantly told be smaller, eat less, move more, sweat more. And I mean men too, but it's a little bit of a different messaging for men. Men, you guys have like pressure to like be big and strong. Where girls, it's like, you know, you should live off of salads and eat 2 shakes a day and cardio yourself away. And so I think I just have a lot of compassion because I also fell for a lot of those kind of gimmicky clickbait situations. And I'm very open and honest about my journey. And I show pictures and I say, look, like this is what I looked like when I did 1,000 calories a day and 2 hours of cardio. And nobody wants to look like this. Yeah, I was thin. I looked great in clothes because I was super petite and wore a size 000. In real life, this is what I looked like in my bikini, and nobody wants to look like that. And then I show them a picture and I'm like, and this is what I look like 10 pounds heavier. And I've got shredded abs and I've got some, arm muscle, and it just is like a whole different physique. And so I find that because I've documented so much of my journey, that I'm able to share a lot of various situations and different, scenarios because I can relate to so many people because I've tried so many programs. And I think that showing them kind of the evidence and the evolution that I went through and talking to them up front and really explaining, you might have to gain 10 pounds to lose that 20. You might have to fix your metabolism. We might have to reverse diet you. And so I think that's a really tough conversation because most people that join, most women that join in particular, are like, I want to lose the last 10 pounds, or I want to, I need help losing the last 20 pounds. And you're like, okay, but it's, what are you eating? and how are you nourishing your body and what's your training look like? And so I really think a lot of the onus on that comes up front in conversation, because I have had, people that sign up and quit because they didn't drop 5 pounds in the first week. And for
Right.
me, that's my fault because I didn't take the time to like properly educate them on what it looks like to be healthy and make sure that your health markers are in line before you're focused on abs.
The ones that are kind of on track, they're doing the right things. How do you connect the dots between like, hey, this is going to be like you see the results, like you know it's going to happen. It's just maybe a little bit more time, but we're also going to feel like we're going to feel more confident too. Not just like we're not just going to like we're not just going to achieve this goal and we're not just going to look this way that we like have set out to look, but how do you also kind of like walk them through like you're going to, and I think it's probably like a journey as well. I think that that's probably a big part of it, but like you're going to feel better. Like you're not going to want to um like you're not going to hate on yourself. You're not going to try to like go backwards and all those things. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like how do you kind of like
I do.
match the results with also the feeling?
So I think I kind of tackle that a bunch of different ways. And I think a really good example is this month in, all of my clients, we have a group chat going. And every month I kind of have a new challenge that I put out. And this month, the challenge is doing a gratitude and goal forecasting journal prompt every morning. And then at the end of the month, whoever's most adherent to whatever the challenge is, there's some sort of a prize, a gift certificate or new pair of gym pants or, something. But I tend to put a lot more focus on the mental. And I also do video response check-ins. So I'm reading their check-ins of all their kind of biofeedback and the standard questions, and I'm really taking time to celebrate and explain why some of the other biofeedback markers mean more than the scale that particular week. Or if the scale fluctuates up, then I'm kind of diving deep and I'm looking at their nutrition logs while I'm on video. And I'm just kind of, going through and saying, listen, we hit all the markers with nutrition. I can see all of your workouts logged. What this means for you is, fill in the blank. And I'm kind of trying really hard to explain the why or my thought process behind to keep them motivated and following other markers other than just that scale. And I'm also always talking about how if you want to be successful in life, get a workout routine. And I'm a huge believer that if you wake up in the morning, you spend 3 minutes on, writing down a few things that you're grateful for, you go to the gym, then you go to work at 9 o'clock. You've already checked off so many wins for the day. You've already checked off so many things that you set out to do. Like if I tell myself I'm going to do this, journal prompt every morning and I actually do it, that's how you build confidence. If I tell myself I'm going to work out in the morning and I actually do it, that's how you build confidence. And then I'm walking into my 9 a.m. meeting and I've got some extra swagger. I've got some pep in my step. I believe in myself. I just threw around a ton of weight. Like I've got a little extra pep and the coworkers are still looking for coffee. Who do you think is going to get a raise? Who's getting that promotion? Who is going to have more confidence to ask for that raise? Who's going to have more swagger to, project this confidence that you need to be extraordinarily successful? I also think that, setting yourself up to have many wins throughout the morning is something that makes a lot of girls in my roster very successful. And I think that there's something so powerful in kind of creating that to-do list for yourself and checking off items. I think that's really how you build confidence and trust within yourself. If you say, I'm going to do this Monday through Friday, then you actually freaking do it. That's, I think, one of the main building blocks to being confident.
Right. Um, so getting kind of into your bodybuilding, kind of mentioned it there, you touched on it, but when you actually were getting ready for that first show, going through your first prep, tell us a little bit about that experience. And I know like just from talking to so many bodybuilders, it can be very, very challenging mentally, emotionally. Did you have any challenges in those regards and like any fears almost of like feeling like, oh man, I'm kind of getting back into those habits at all, or, I'm having those thoughts that I did before?
So I think for me in particular, I have an incredibly demanding day job. And so the more pieces of my life that I can put structure around and remove kind of the decision fatigue of like, what am I going to cook for dinner? What am I going to grab for breakfast? Like the more places that I can apply kind of structure and routine help me maintain control and maintain the ability to show up in my day job very successfully. And so, as strange as it sounds, I feel like for me, prep is almost easier because it's so structured than off season when the only mission is to grow. And, yes, I follow macros in my off season and I'm still checking in weekly with my coach but it is a little bit less daunting when the mission is to grow. And when, you feel like you can go out to a corporate dinner and it doesn't really matter and you could throw macros in and it's not going to make a big impact. I feel like the lack of structure is almost harder for me than the actual full structure. And I probably should have been in the military, man. I wake up so early. I get up early. I get all my stuff done, all my to-do lists done before my family wakes up. I'm usually like 2 hours into my day job. And so I think, thrive more on the structure and the routine. And also, I think because I think that that's what allows me to manage so much all the time is because I remove things that like cause me decision fatigue.
Right. No, it's funny because I
Sounds
think
crazy, but it works.
well, a lot of bodybuilders I think have that similar mindset of like, don't give me an option. Just tell me exactly what I have to do and like give me, and especially like having like 16 weeks later, like that's the goal, having that short term period to like make sure that you do stick to those things because there's not really enough time to like get back on track if you do have a major
Right.
screw up and things like that. It's
You
funny
got to be in a thong bikini at the end of
right,
it.
you have like this thing that's holding you accountable. What point does that one time cheat turn into like a daily routine and a daily habit? Like, okay, I got this donut today because it's, National Donut Day and it's fun and it's like a one-time thing, but all of a sudden, it's like every weekday now you're driving and getting your daily donut and then you got to break that habit.
It's a slippery slope. Yeah. And two, I think in my line of work, in my corporate job, there's a lot of entertaining, high ticket clients, and there's a lot of fancy dinners and fancy restaurants and all of the things. And so I find it a lot easier with the extreme structure that prep gives me because in this season, I'm making sure my butt is up. If I have to work out at 3 o'clock in the morning, then I'm working out at 3 o'clock in the morning because I know I have a dinner later. But in off season, it's more like, okay, well, I'll take today as my rest day. I'll work out tomorrow. And it's just a little bit, and I find that I'm almost, more successful in my day job and in my career and in my business and everything when I am just incredibly structured because I think that the structure again takes away kind of the decision fatigue, which makes things quicker. And so my to-do list gets done quicker because I just know like it's like brushing your teeth, it has to get done.
Right. And do you find yourself like almost forcing yourself to take some time away or like, relaxing a little bit on that structure? Do you have to like force yourself to do that more?
I I mean, I think in some degrees it could be argued both ways, but for me, again, in prep world, my sleep becomes a priority. Where in off season, it's like more lackadaisical. I don't care if I'm out entertaining until 11 or 12 o'clock at night. Where in prep world, I'm like, no, I gotta go to bed. Like I need my 8 hours. And so I think that it almost forces more of a balance between rest and recovery and going hard.
Right. And so the first time you actually competed and stepped on stage, tell us a little bit about that experience and getting into after that experience as well, the post show.
So the experience of my actual show day wasn't super positive. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. It was, but it was something where I just knew it was home. Like even with all the chaos and stuff that went wrong, um, like there was a laundry list. All the stupid stuff went wrong. Bikini problems, tan problems. The DJ didn't show up at the venue, so it was like you could hear me breathing on stage. And so I think that like there was so much my posing, I was taught incorrect posing, so I was like changing my posing on the fly. And so what could have gone wrong did go wrong. But ultimately, I still knew like this feels like home and it feels like something I have to do again. And I almost kind of am like, nah, I could do better than that. Wait till next time. And so then immediately after the show, I actually went on vacation like a week or two later, I think, and toyed around with my coach at the time who thought I should, jump into another show and whatnot. But for me, it was very apparent that I had a lot of growing to do. And so I was like, I don't want to just jump into another show just to do another show. Like, I want to actually be successful as I possibly can at this. Like, this is great. And I think it gave me an outlet to kind of channel a lot of my competitive energy too. So I just kind of really almost immediately knew like I need to go into a really long growing season and come back fiery.
And because, you have that bodybuilding experience, working with people who aren't bodybuilders, how do you kind of like communicate that you don't, they don't have to be exactly like you?
Yeah, so again, I have this kind of very active chat group, right? And I do have a handful of competitors that I'm coaching currently, which is really, really exciting and so rewarding. But we'll always kind of joke around about like, yeah, we're doing this crazy thing because we have to, because we're in an extreme situation right now. This is not for like the everyday life. Like I had shared, I was eating cucumber slices with like sugar-free jello sprinkled on top. And I was like, yeah, it's a great sweet treat. Would I choose this probably when my macros are significantly higher? I don't know. But if you're running out of macros and you only have a few left and you want something sweet, then go for it. And so I think we're just really open and honest in that chat group. And I do get that question quite frequently, actually, when somebody wants to join or when they send that initial kind of, hey, tell me more message. It's, do I have to be a bodybuilder though? Or I get a lot of like, I want to look really fit, but not as much muscle as you. And I'm like, that's cool. So I think, of just being open and talking through it and just really being sure to say, like, we're taking a physique sport. Like, this is an extreme isolated situation. You don't have to be this extreme. You don't have to ever do this much cardio or this much working out.
Right. And do you feel like there's some people out there, maybe specifically those who do want to or have worked with you or are currently working with you that do see what you do and they want to kind of do it, but they don't want to compete, but they just want to, they kind of want to go through the motions. They want to go through kind of like the
Mhm.
cycles of it.
So I have a lot of people that reach out, and especially in summertime, everybody wants to be shredded and shred for summer, and it does often coincide with our prep season is kind of getting ready, and then we walk around in really great condition through the summertime because that's just where the show seasons are a lot, and so I do think that a lot of people come into it looking for that. And I think a lot of people quickly realize like being shredded isn't as fun as I thought it was. And I did just have just a wonderful client, and she is a grandmother and very well educated in fitness. And she reached out to me, and it was very much the same thing. Like, hey, I'm fit, I'm strong, I'm doing all the things, but something's not connecting. I still don't look how I think I deserve to look with the amount of work I'm putting out. And so we put her through a, kind of a shred down after we reversed her macros up and got her healthy. And then we kind of shredded her down. And after she, had the ab lines and was incredibly fit, was like, I want to grow. I don't know that I want to be this strict all the time. This isn't as fun as growing.
Right. Do
And
you think that,
so go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, do you think that there's a large misconception about that because of social media and just people seeing like, oh, this person looks great on, on pictures, so I want to look like that, but then they don't understand kind of what's going into it and how it feels.
I do. I think, again, I really think we are marketed so much. I mean, billion-dollar industry, diet industry, right? And we're so heavily marketed that we almost feel like walking around that shredded should be the goal. And I think there's a big misconception about how the more shredded you are, the crappier you feel. Like, once you reach a certain point. And Yeah, I do. I really think there's a huge misconception. And I think a lot of women find that the balance is a little better. Like, still strong, still shapely, flat stomach. They don't need shredded abs, nobody needs bulging biceps, but nice, fit appearance is kind of where that happy place is. And I think it's a big kind of disconnect from the marketing that we get with, be as small and as tiny as possible all the time.
Yeah. And I think too, there's like a very interesting in the very, very opposite extreme to that now too. It's like, um, like self-care being almost like a lack of self-care, if that makes sense. Like I feel like people have almost taken it to the extreme of like looking for a supplement company that's as serious about your fitness goals as you are. All Sport Pharmaceuticals is here to help. Their top of the line supplements are designed to help you get the most out of every workout with ingredients that have been scientifically proven to enhance performance and recovery. Whether you're a seasoned athlete or just starting out on your fitness journey, All Sport Pharmaceuticals has the perfect supplements to help you achieve your goals. Plus, with their commitment to quality and safety, you can trust that you're getting a product that's both effective and reliable. So what are you waiting for? Take your fitness game to the next level with All Sport Pharmaceuticals. Visit the website today to learn more. This podcast is sponsored by Smoking Gun Coffee, a veteran-owned coffee company that strives to give back to those in need. Don't forget to use code TWR10 for a 10% discount at checkout.
We're going to ruffle feathers today.
Right. Like my self-care is just eating a gallon of ice cream when I get home every day, and that's self-care to me, and that's my thing that I do to take care of myself. I mean, how do you think that you combat that in terms of like having just a happy medium in those regards?
I speak out about this, I would say fairly commonly. I think probably a lot of people click on follow a lot because while I think that health can come in many sizes, I also think that we're doing a very poor job by almost celebrating the obesity. And 41%, I just saw the stat that 41% of people in the United States over 20 are obese. So I think that it almost is shifting that way because nobody likes to be the outlier. Everybody wants to be comfortable. Everybody, like human nature, you kind of want to follow the pack. And so if all of a sudden it becomes acceptable to be unhealthy and care less about working out, and it becomes like the accepted, like, this is self-love, this is body positivity, rather than, well, let's, you've got diabetes and you've got poor health markers and you feel like crap and you can't breathe when you take a walk, and it's like I really struggle with that marketing because I think it does such a disservice to us as a whole. But I also think that misery loves company. And I think that some very smart marketing person was like, we're going to capitalize on this. Like half of the United States is obese. Let's capitalize on it and let's start, having models that are bigger and whatnot. Well, I think that there is, some level for inclusivity. I just think that your health should always be first and foremost rather than, you know, it being celebrated to be larger. Where, listen, I've known a lot of larger people that are very, very healthy, that have perfect health markers and whatnot. But I do think it's also kind of a ticking time bomb before those things flare up. And I think, well, I don't think I know, but when you take care of yourself and you are physically active, it prolongs your life. I'm not trying to die prematurely. I got 3 kids. I want to see them grow up. I want to live vibrantly AF for as long as possible. That's my motto. The middle is getting lost for sure. And it's getting lost in a lot of marketing and magazines and celebrities. I really do think the middle is getting lost. And I think the middle is where it's at, man. I think that the middle is where it's at. I think you can be vibrant and healthy and still care about yourself, but still enjoy, a pizza night with your kids after a good game. Like I think that this room for the majority of people to live in the middle, where they're still comfortable putting on a swimsuit and being in the summertime, but not so strict where they feel like, there's these unrealistic goals, which I don't think bodybuilding is unrealistic, but I think for the vast majority of people, they look at bodybuilders like, oof, geez. And not everybody wants to look like a bodybuilder, and that's fine too. But I think the middle should be celebrated more.
Yeah. In my opinion, bodybuilding has like a really great opportunity right now to capitalize and be like, hey, this can be a lifestyle for you. It doesn't necessarily have to be a competitive thing.
I have seen a lot more, bodybuilders and really popular people in our industry sharing more of what off season looks like. And I find that incredibly refreshing. And I think it's doing us a lot of justice by not just sharing the shredded pictures year round and
Hmm.
by actually showing, this is where health is. Like, this is where I feel my best. This is where I enjoy, more food. This is when, I feel vibrant. And so I really am enjoying that movement for
Yeah.
sure. I also think, um, I don't know, I can't remember the name right now, but the guy that always is like showing photoshopped and
I know who
I
you're
forget
talking
his
about.
name is. Yeah, but he's like always highlighting like, yeah, this person looks great, but they're still photoshopping.
Yeah.
And so like their physique is great as it is, and they still felt the need to Photoshop. It's insane. So it's almost highlighting in a way that even the people that you're trying to emulate aren't actually that all the time,
Right. Yeah.
which I think is important.
Yeah. Because I think at the end of the day, like we all, at least in the world of fitness, I think we all have this want to just be better. And that can sometimes be tricky because it's hard sometimes to find the balance between understanding that you are great where you are, but also having the will to keep pushing.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. That's true, I think, in a lot of different areas of life too, for
Yeah.
that personality type.
Yeah, for sure. And so to kind of wrap things up, what are some of your, some of your goals, some of your vision for the future in regards to like what you want to achieve, what the impact is that you want to bring to the world of health and fitness, and then maybe the next, 5, 10 years.
Impact. Man, I'm just happy to be here. I feel like I hope that I attract people that I can help. I hope that my transparency kind of helps even, just one mom realize that living on 1,000 calories isn't going to have you feeling your best. I hope that, I don't know, I guess I just hope that we kind of experience this shift of trying to be as small as possible to trying to take up space in a healthy, vibrant way. And like we've mentioned 1,000 times already, is, it doesn't have to be one extreme or the next. You don't have to be wildly unhealthy with all these unhealthy markers just to kind of fit into this box. You also don't have to be fully shredded with abs and bulging biceps either. And that health should be first, but that it's also super obtainable to get healthy. I think bridging that between, I've got to starve and live off a rabbit food to get healthy, I think is kind of the message that I enjoy sharing, because I just find it so far from the truth. And I think most women start to lose weight when they eat more, and so I would say that that would be a good goal to kind of push that messaging.
Yeah. No, I think that's very valuable information for sure to share and to continue to, like I said, just impact people and hopefully this podcast is doing that in some way. And just the guests that I bring on, I'm really grateful for, and I'm really grateful that you came on tonight, kind of shared about your journey, opened up about some of the things that you went through. And I think a lot of people can on some level relate to struggles and can relate to like just feeling like they want to belong and they want to be a part, and feel like they're doing something good, and just when you feel like that, but also knowing like these are the better ways to do that.
Well, happy and humbled and enjoyed our conversation. Obviously, thank you so much. I don't think I'm part of that elite group that you typically tend to interview, but I'm happy to be here nonetheless.
If you want to, though, before we head out, share any, like social media where people can get a hold of you if they want to reach out.
Sure, super easy at Crystal Stretch, all platforms.
There you go.
No,
Easy.
no dashes, no nothing crazy. Crystal Stretch.
Awesome. Well, I'll put that down in the description. And like I said, I really appreciate you coming on tonight.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.
If you're tired of searching for a coach or trainer, somebody who knows what they're talking about and has experience, make sure you go check out the new Coach's Corner on weightroompodcast.com. You can find quality, qualified coaches to help you achieve your goals, whether that's in bodybuilding or just general fitness. Stop wasting time and start achieving your goals today. The link to the Coach's Corner is down in the description below.